Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. With Candace Young on vacation this week, I'm stepping in to write the Young and Restless column. And I'll be honest, it's been a while since I watched an entire week's worth of episodes because, frankly, I've just not found the featured storylines grabbing my attention. This week, however, a story did exactly that, only to then, like the characters around which it revolves, go completely missing. To say that this show is not particularly action-packed would be an understatement. For quite some time, it's heavily invested in business storylines, apparently thinking we're a lot more interested in who's running what company than we are. But the kidnapping of Phyllis and Sharon definitely caught my attention. It involves two dynamic characters and a mystery person who's using their history against them. I'm all in. So imagine my surprise when the women were given a new riddle to solve on Tuesday, only to completely vanish for the rest of the week. How is something involving this story not the Friday cliffhanger? Make it make sense. People. Much of this week was spent on petty squabbling between people who've been battling against one another for years. Decades in some cases. Billy and Adam butted heads over their dueling communications companies. Because again, someone at this show thinks we're really invested in who comes out on top in the battle of the bigwigs. Then there were Jack and Victor, having the same fight they've been having for so many years that they dragged the long-dead ghost of Jack's dad into the ring. But hey, fighting with Jack gives Victor something to do other than check notes, interfere in the lives of his granddaughters. Both of these activities are certainly within the character makeup of the mobile, but it all has a been there, done that feel. Here's hoping we really are getting a new threat, as indicated by the endless name-dropping of Aristotle Dumas. It might be fun to see all of the local power players, including Jack and Victor, work together against a common enemy. I'd like for the folks at Young and Restless to check out the literal new kid on the block, Beyond the Gates. During its first 2 weeks, that show has managed to become must-see TV for my household. And there are more than a few things it could teach the rest of the CBS daytime lineup. Like what? The pacing, for starters. The past 2 weeks in Fairmont Crest have seen a wedding, an attempted murder, and a threesome. For starters, while Genoa City folks argued over their companies. And although the majority of Gates' characters are wealthy, their conversations aren't about anything as trivial as will be the new CEO. The show also has a whole slew of have-nots whom every single person in the audience can relate to. I could go on, but you get the point. Young and Restless was the first soap I became addicted to a whole lot of years ago. For context, a supposedly dead Catherine was haunting Suzanne, wandering the halls in a diaphanous gown singing, "I'm gonna live till I die." #JFKYK. I have loved it for longer than Jack and Victor have been feuding. So I know what this show can be when it's firing on all cylinders. That's the show I'd love to get hooked on again. Given that Beyond the Gates has been doing boffo numbers in the all-important ratings, it's time for someone at CBS to recognize what is, and what's not, working at its other soaps. Should they need help in that department, call me. I'll happily offer an assist. Asterisk, why in the world did Kyle and Summer leave the GCAC, where they were both picking up food, and then, after saying they were going to the office, go to Crimson Lights? And why, if Nikki was having lunch with Claire and a business associate, were the ladies seated at a table clearly set for two? Asterisk, I'm not sure how to feel about Amy's new doctor. The show used the fact that she's dying to introduce Damien. I've sort of been assuming that her dying would create drama between him and Nate, so her getting a miracle cure, which is the direction we seem to be heading, would be yet another case of this show saying, no, that would be too much drama. Let's back away quickly. Asterisk, I'm worried about this big renovation over at the Abbott Mansion. We all remember the Chancellor Estate disaster of a few years back. Also, I'd like to recommend that the show stop spending money on new sets. The Newman Ranch, Billy's Pad, now this, and focus on what's unfolding within them. Remember, when Hamlet set out to capture the conscience of the king, the play, not its setting, was the thing with which he endeavored to do so. For decades, television has been a battlefield of narratives, with audiences fiercely loyal to their chosen dramas. The daytime soap, The Young and the Restless, has reigned as a long-standing titan, weaving tales of love, betrayal, and corporate intrigue since 1973. Meanwhile, Beyond the Gates, though a lesser-known entity in the world of storytelling, offers a cinematic and psychological experience that bends the boundaries of reality and horror. But how do these two vastly different narratives compare? Is Beyond the Gates better than The Young and the Restless, or does the daytime soap still hold its crown as the superior tale spinner? To answer this, we must examine their storytelling depth, character development, thematic elements, and the impact they leave on their audience. At its core, storytelling defines the success of any narrative. The Young and the Restless thrives on its long-running, interwoven storylines that span decades, ensuring that characters evolve and relationships entangle in complex ways. Its slow-burn drama, fueled by love triangles, power struggles, and secrets, has made it a staple for generations. Fans have grown up with the Newman Abbott families, invested in their legacies as if they were real. On the other hand, Beyond the Gates offers an entirely different experience. A blend of psychological horror and nostalgic mystery. The film tells the story of two estranged brothers who uncover a VHS board game linked to their missing father. The movie does not rely on prolonged character arcs, but rather focuses on the eerie, unsettling experience that unfolds in its contained runtime. It crafts a tight, immersive narrative that leaves audiences questioning reality. Unlike the continuous nature of Young and the Restless, Beyond the Gates does not demand a lifetime commitment, it delivers a one-time psychological punch. Soap operas are known for their intricate character development, and The Young and the Restless is no exception. Characters like Victor Newman and Nikki Newman have undergone extensive evolution over decades, experiencing redemption, scandal, and heartbreak in a cycle that never truly ends. Their personalities are shaped by years of decisions, and the audience witnesses every moment of their transformations. The beauty of the show lies in the sheer depth and history of its characters, making them feel real and familiar. Conversely, Beyond the Gates features characters designed to serve a specific function within a horror-driven story. The brothers, Gordon and John, have a compelling arc of reconciliation and rediscovery, but their growth is contained within the film's narrative. Their struggles feel raw and immediate, yet the audience does not follow them beyond the film's conclusion. While the characters may not have decades of history, their emotional journey remains impactful, particularly in how they cope with grief and the supernatural elements around them. Thematically, these two properties could not be more different. The Young and the Restless is driven by romance, power, and human emotions, drawing viewers into its world of passionate affairs, devastating betrayals, and corporate feuds. Its themes resonate on a deeply personal level, engaging viewers in familiar struggles of love, ambition, and loyalty. Beyond the Gates, on the other hand, explores themes of grief, the unknown, and psychological horror. It leans into existential dread, making audiences question reality while confronting loss and estrangement. The use of the VHS board game as a supernatural conduit symbolizes unresolved trauma and how the past can haunt the present. While Young and the Restless is deeply rooted in human relationships, Beyond the Gates taps into the human psyche's fear of the unexplained. One of the biggest factors in determining which is better depends on the audience's preference for storytelling engagement. The Young and the Restless offers longevity. Fans become emotionally invested for years, even decades. It is a daily escape, providing continuity and familiarity in a world that constantly changes. The characters and their stories become part of the viewer's routine, evolving with them over time. On the other hand, Beyond the Gates provides a compact but intense experience. It does not require a long-term commitment, but instead offers a powerful, unsettling journey that lingers in the mind long after the credits roll. It is less about ongoing engagement and more about delivering a single, haunting impact that makes audiences think and feel deeply in a short amount of time. From a production standpoint, The Young and the Restless follows the traditional soap opera format, relying on melodrama, dramatic pauses, and drawn-out revelations to keep audiences hooked. Its episodic nature allows for character growth at a measured pace, ensuring that each storyline has the room to breathe. Meanwhile, Beyond the Gates benefits from a more cinematic approach. It employs moody cinematography, eerie sound design, and a tightly structured script to create suspense. The film has a definitive arc, beginning and concluding within a set time frame, providing closure. A stark contrast to The Young and the Restless, where closure is never truly the goal, but rather the continuation of drama. Ultimately, comparing Beyond the Gates to The Young and the Restless is like comparing a psychological thriller novel to a multi-generational family saga. The two serve entirely different purposes, catering to different audience needs. If one seeks long-term emotional investment, evolving character arcs, and a daily dose of high-stakes romance, The Young and the Restless is unbeatable. It is a legacy series, standing the test of time with stories that resonate across generations. However, for those who prefer a concise, mind-bending experience with thematic depth and eerie storytelling, Beyond the Gates is a superior choice. It delivers a compelling and haunting narrative that does not require years of viewing, but instead thrives on intensity and psychological depth. So, is Beyond the Gates better than The Young and the Restless? The answer depends on what kind of story you want to experience. For those who seek a lifelong connection, The Young and the Restless remains the undisputed champion of ongoing drama. For those who prefer a single, unforgettable narrative that plays with reality and fear, Beyond the Gates takes the prize.